Hello everyone. I'm here today to talk about why life is actually more of a marathon than it is a sprint, because so many people approach their life as if it's all just a sprint, like oh, like I'm gonna spend all my energy all on this one thing, and they put all their effort into it, and people encounter all this failure, all these problems, and they're like, how come I didn't achieve my goals in whatever I'm trying to do? So, a good example of this, like I have some friends who trade a bit in cryptocurrencies, and they go about it the wrong way because they look at it like they can make 30% in a day, which some of them do some days. But they don't consistently make that, you see, because they think I have to make 30% every day because then I'm going to be like a millionaire in 3 months or something, And they think that they can just do that they can take off and just say, I'm going to sprint through this, I'm going to learn everything there is to learn about trading like these currencies, and suddenly I'm just going to be rich. And people just expect their goals to really go like that. Like, if you've ever read The Alchemist, then it's a good book where the guy thinks he's going to make it to the pyramids in the first few days, and he doesn't make it for like 2 years, basically, in the course of the book. And really, that's a lot of about how life works, is that you think it's going to take a really short period of time, but it actually takes longer. People tend to underestimate what they can do in a year, but they overestimate what they can do in a day, because they think, today I can do like everything, I'm just gonna go get it, I'm gonna watch this motivational video, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and suddenly I'm just gonna be, off to save the day, off to do everything. They think that it's all just that kind of result. But actually, it's really just not. I mean, they think, okay, we can just sprint it out. But life is so much of just being a marathon, okay? Instead of trying to earn 30% a day, if you made 1% a day, 2% a day, 0.5% a day, you could consistently compound that until it really is a fortune. And that kind of number is achievable. Is it easy? Not necessarily, depending on what market you're trading in particularly. But you could really do that, okay? That's really possible. But when you feel like you need to make 30% a day, it's really just impossible. People's goals tend to be overly ambitious in many cases. I mean, when people start actually setting goals and believing in it, they suddenly think, okay, I can do anything. But then they're like a glass cannon. They're like somebody who can't take any damage whatsoever. They just run into a challenge and they get destroyed. Why do they get destroyed? Is because they expend all their energy on these tasks. They think, I can do this, I just gotta put in my full focus, I gotta put in like everything. Why should it take me like a year to write a book? I could write a book in 10 hours, and they think they can just like and I think this is partially the fault of movies, books, stories. If you've heard of Joseph Campbell, he has like this single story idea of how every story basically has these components that kind of are shared in this monomyth, as he calls it. Super cool stuff. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend checking it out. I might even do a video on that, but it's really useful in this case specifically because people are always thinking, I need to sprint it. Like, they watch a movie that's an hour and a half or 2 hours, and they think, okay, to achieve success, like these people who won the big game or achieve this big goal, whatever they did it in this period of time, because basically, as humans, we cut out the minutia, the day-to-day stuff that's boring, okay? When we have training, we put it into a little montage that's like a minute and a half of awesome music, when really it took the person, so many days to do that. I mean, we see people training in the montage, and our subconscious mind basically associates that it should take a very short period of time. So if we're going to study for a test, it wants real life to be like a montage, that we're just going to study for it like it's all just in the last night, in the last 3 hours or something. We're just going to sit down, we're just going to be super focused, and we're going to sprint on through it, and we're going to win it, and we're going to, nail the test. But actually, that's not at all how it works. I mean, life is so much more of a marathon because you're really just jogging slowly through it all. If you start out sprinting, you're just going to die out in the marathon. Because it's just like that. It's too long a distance to just straight out sprint, okay? And that's really where life is so much different from the movies, because people are expecting, oh, it's just going to be the movie, I'm just going to montage through this studying, when the actual way to do it was to go through the last 2 weeks and just put in 10 minutes a day, a small amount incrementally. And that's really what builds change in any areas. It's laying a single brick at a time, just building something like building your craft slowly, okay? And this is really what's so well just like misunderstood. People just really don't get this concept. It's really deep in Think and Grow Rich. It's got a lot of good parts all about this kind of stuff. But just to get into the main point here, when you go at it like a sprint, you're going to lose all your energy, you're not going to succeed at it. But when you go at it like a marathon, you start out slowly, you get into your groove, you find a pace you can keep going at and keep going at. That's really where you can achieve anything, be it trading, be it writing, be it studying, be it like consistency, like your job, whatever the case, okay? You can really achieve it better if you run life more like a marathon. Because we cut all this stuff out in movies and books because it's boring. We don't want to hear about the hero who like sits on the couch part of the day watching TV and see him eating eggs and see him like walking to school or something and doing this and doing that and just hanging out. We don't really want to see that. So they just cut like, here's the day-to-day where the person's training for the big game, training for the big game, training for the big game. When actually that was only like half an hour or an hour of their day. We cut out that other 23 hours because we as humans don't like that kind of minutia. It's just like boring. But that's how so many people feel about their lives, because they're like, when is my montage? When am I going to take off on this adventure? And they really need to understand that that's not how it works. See, we all seek out our own adventure, and we do it incrementally. So we start out slowly, and we continue on it slowly, and this really builds into the ending result. So that's why life is more like a marathon than it is like a sprint. I hope this was helpful. It's good to get a discussion going about this kind of stuff, and I hope you all enjoyed and this was useful. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you guys next time with the next video.